Hi, Patrick here. Now you have to decide this, whether you want to have more time but make less money, or you want to make much more money but you have less time in your life. Now that is a direct proportion generally for everyone. So I realized that the more time I spend on my computer, right, the more money I'll be making. It's quite straightforward. Like, if I need to make more money, I will just need to spend more time on my computer. Now wait, you'll be thinking, are you saying that this is all trading time for money and so on? No, I'm not referring to that. I'm referring exactly as what I just said. Meaning that it doesn't mean that you could be trading time for money. You could be building something, you could be building system, you could be learning, you could be building your brand and so on. And all of those could create passive income for you. But the equation still is the same. You spend more time, you can make more money, but you have less time left. Or you could, spend very little time on your work, so you can have that time to do something else that you want. So what is the real secret to happiness in that sense, right? What is the secret to feeling content? Well, very simple. Now, if you want to be happy while making money and building a business, I'll tell you this, right? The answer is this. You got to know how much money that you want to make every single month. That's it. If you figure that out, you will know how much money you're going to make per year. And if you have that number, you will know when to so-called pause and when to so-called spend your time not to look at the computer and do anything else that you like having lunch with your friends or whatsoever that makes you happy and being contented. Right, this is Patrick here. I look forward to see you one day, and feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments there, and check out patric.live. So the next tricky part is that how much is enough? Because this question is a very tricky question, because money will never be enough in that sense, right? I mean, who would say that, I'm done with making money, I'm done with money coming into my bank account? It will never end in that sense. So how do you know when it's enough? Now, I do not know how you structure that, because everyone is different. But for me, my formula is always about 10x, right? So I'm not referring to Grant Cardone's 10x rules, although that is very significant strategy, principle and so on. But generally, in whatever that I do, it's always been a 10x model. And this is something that I learned from my mentor. His name is Robert G. Allen, many years ago. So what do I mean by 10x? So for me, it's very simple. You work out on your personal expense, like how much you spend, how much you need to spend every single month for your personal expense, right? So let's say if it is 10,000. I'm just making this because it's easy to count. It could be 100,000. You don't know how much is a personal expense. So I'm not referring to business expense. I'm referring to personal expense, right? So let's say it's 10,000, which means that your expenses is 120,000 a year, which means that you should focus on generating 1.2 million in order for you to be enough in that sense, right? So that becomes like a ballpark. For me, that will become my ballpark. Now again, I'm not referring to business expense, because business expenses are interrelated with your income, for your business income. So we're not counting that. We're counting just on your personal expenses. Now if you have that number, right, then you know that you can live comfortably, right? Because let's say if you just need to spend $1 a day. Again, I'm just making this up, right? Nobody spends $1 a day here in terms of their daily expense, right? Not to be impolite or insensitive, but it's really hard for you to survive on $1 a day here. But the point I'm trying to tell you is this: is that if you say you need to spend $1 a day, but you have $10, right? Now that should be more than enough for you to buy anything that you want that suddenly pops up. So let's say you drink, say, a cup of coffee a day, but on the same day you feel like, hey, you know what, I want to drink 3 cups of coffee. No, you can't afford that, because you're making a 10x income back in return. You see where I'm coming from? So it's a logical explanation. It is not on a so-called motivational standpoint, or the whole concept of, hey, 10x sounds so much more easier, so let's just call it 10x. No, it really helps you to be very, very comfortable. Now, if you have that, so you sort of know how much money that you need in that sense. So if you feel like making more and you have some extra time, then you can always focusing on 2x, your 10x, and so forth. So you have like a simple planning so that you know how much work that you should be spending, you should be working on in order for you to feel happy. Because if you make so much money but you don't have time, you don't have time if your family, your kids, or your spouse, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, if you're not married, then you know it's a miserable life in that sense, even though you have lots of money. I mean, I've known a lot of rich people like multi-millionaires, but you know they're not happy in a sense that they don't feel fulfilled, right? There's always something missing there. And the truth is, the thing that really miss out is none other than time. Why? Because time is the most valuable commodity that can be converted into almost anything, right? So there you go. Patrick here from Patric.life.